On a more pleasant note, let's talk about how terrible Do They Know It's Christmas is. So Do They Know It's Christmas is turns 40. I mean, wow. Right?
Wow.
So in 19...
And they still don't know.
Shouldn't that be the goal of the fundraiser?
40 years of telling people, and they're still, wait a minute, is it Christmas? I had no idea.
We're still asking the question.
You're right, John. What the hell? Instead of giving them money or food or whatever they're sending over there, knowledge, the most valuable thing you can get.
Calendars, perhaps.
Yeah.
Calendars?
Wait, what? Calendars?
Well, then you know it's Christmas. You look on the calendar, because it often falls around the same date every year. So if you have a calendar,
right.
there's no reason to not know it's Christmas.
You keep track.
That caught a lot of people by surprise.
Let's save a lot of money. You don't even need 8 million pounds that they raised with the song. Calendars are like $1 a piece.
So in 1984, the
Airdrop
Boomtown Rats, Bob Geldof and Ultravox's Midge wrote a catchy, well-intentioned, deeply problematic Christmas song about the need to help other people during the holiday season. A massive group of primarily young British stars, including Bono, Sting, Boy George, and Simon Le Bon, sang on Do They Know It's Christmas, which came out under the name Band Aid. The song became a worldwide hit, but 40 years later, not everyone is feeling the Christmas spirit. Mm-hmm. If you didn't know, and I didn't realize this, in the years since the song's release, Geldof has overseen 3 more versions. So we had the 84 one, then we had another in 89, one in 2004, and another in 2014. On the later versions, Geldof updated the song by bringing in younger stars, of the moment. Robbie Williams, the Sugar Babes, and Dido were in 2004. One Direction, Sam Smith, and Ellie Goulding in 2014. Today, let's see. As of I think some say it was a week ago. At the end of November, Band Aid released a new 40th anniversary. This is just for me already. Look, the song's problematic. I do like the tune of it though, but this really is just like they're calling the 40th anniversary a mega mix. Because they're mashing up vocals from the first, third, and fourth versions. It sounds like a horrible idea to begin with. Put aside the problematic lyrics.
Okay, so I have to interject here. Mm-hmm. I'll just be the one that I didn't know it was problematic. Okay. What did I miss? I've heard it. Granted, I've never analyzed the lyrics or looked for the political meaning behind it or whatever. It's just the song and whatever. Why is it questionable? And what's wrong with the second version that leaving all that out? Was that the one where they spewed epithets?
Well, no.
That's what I want to know too. Why did they?
Ooh, this one went hard. Right from the first bar.
They explained when Christmas falls, like you did earlier, and they were like, "Shit, we're not going to make any money off this." After they know, if we want a third or a fourth, we got to be vaguer.
They gave it away.
or
do you know it's Christmas? We're not telling you if you don't.
Sundays, $30, care of Bob Geldof. No, well, this might be why, John. The second incarnation included Kylie Minogue, which Kylie Minogue's good, Jason Donovan, and now imagine these folks, on the level of Sting, Bono, George Michael, Simon Le Bon. Brothers, which I bet you don't even know that band from the UK. Big Fun, which is primarily a dance band, and Technotronic.
Oh, okay.
I think probably, I'm thinking as far as quality of vocalists, it probably lacked in what the other versions did.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not what makes it problematic.
No, that's why they were ignored, I think.
Okay. That's why they might omit the second one.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Well, I'll tell you right now, John. I'll tell you some lyrics, okay?
Okay, all right.
Let me ask you this. Will there be snow in Africa this Christmas time? I don't know. The song says there won't. They also say that in Africa, the greatest gift that Africans will get, John, life. They also explain how nothing ever grows there. And there's no rain
in Africa
or river.
It's the cradle of civilization.
So they reduce it down to this sort of Hollywood, 1940s. I don't know. So it's very.
I mean, there's a whole other song about the rains down in Africa, so we know it does rain on occasion.
So already,
Good point.
And no, there's not going to be snow during Christmas because they're south of the equator. So they probably have their snow in the summer.
Yeah.
So did they just go the wrong time of the year?
Well,
I see. So it's reductive of the continent and its people.
Yes,
is that
exactly.
where we're going with that?
way to
Okay.
say it.
I was not aware.
That's the problem.
It's a really good way.
I didn't
And
know
there's
about
other
those
lyrics
things.
like that. They live in a world of dread and fear, where the only water flowing is this bitter sting of tears. So I'll tell you a little bit more of this. I'll tell you more of the current sort of. This has been a controversy here and there since it's been released in 1984. But this is kicked up again because one of the young stars who participated in the 2014 version is popular singer Ed Sheeran. And last week, after this, just right before the song, or I guess a couple of weeks ago now, right before the song was set to release, Sheeran said that he wouldn't have given permission for his vocals to be used if he had been asked. Quote, "A decade on and my understanding of the narrative associated with this has changed," end quote. And he said this in response to a statement from England-born, Ghana-raised musician Fuse ODG, who said that he refused to participate in the 2014 recording because he, quote, "recognized the harm initiatives like it inflict on Africa," end quote. He continued saying, "While they may generate sympathy and donations, they perpetrate damaging stereotypes that stifle Africa's economic growth, tourism, and investment, ultimately costing the continent trillions and destroying its dignity, pride, and identity," end quote.
Really? Wow.
There's a whole documentary on this. I forget what it's called. Yeah, about how initiatives to deal with famine and to try to feed people wherever there's a food problem, ultimately it, depending on how it's done, it does harm. I wish I could remember the name the name of the documentary.
So, I have to I'm ignorant to this, clearly. I just found out it was offensive or problematic, but it seems to me it's not intentional cultural malevolence, but kind of fundraising hyperbole, right? Because if the song was like, "Oh, the people in Africa can rarely afford to supersize their value meal," if it sounds like things are just okay but a little rough, you don't raise as much money. I don't even minimize the impact, but if you're writing a song to try to raise money for people that are having problems, you sing about the people in the worst areas that are most impacted, and quite possibly there are people with those problems, but not the entire continent. So,
right.
Okay, I guess.
Yeah. Good point.
Generally, I agree with you, John, in concept. But I think the hyperbole here, the problem, as he's saying, is it's bad marketing, right? Just from a tourism perspective. If you're talking about a place that's essentially just drought filled,
I see that.
And they've reduced even, because this song, I think this was to raise money for Ethiopia at the time, originally.
Ethiopia.
They've reduced the country, or the continent of Africa, rather, to this, whatever was happening in this particular area at the time.
Right. There certainly was suffering and hunger and those things. And certainly those families, the holidays were not high on their agenda of things to worry about. So I get the sentiment.
Right. Yeah.
But I didn't realize it was painting the entire continent with a single brush. So I get it.
So Geldof himself has spoken out in defense of the song, which was the focus of an article published by New Zealand's One News. The article charged that some of the lyrics recycled many of the old colonial tropes of Africa as a barren land requiring Western salvation. Geldof said, quote, "This little pop song has kept hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people alive. In fact, just today, Band-Aid has given hundreds of thousands of pounds to help those running from the mass slaughter in Sudan, and enough cash to feed another 8,000 children in the same affected areas of Ethiopia as in 1984. Colonial tropes, my arse." It doesn't mean it's not racist, though, or stereotypes, or whatever, reinforcing stereotypes. I mean, both could be true. It does good and it does harm.
Yes. And it's hard. It's hard to see, like, well, how could this be bad? Feeding people, and it's good in so many ways. But there's something about the structure that you use, something about the system that you're helping to put in place or not, that is important here. That I can't remember. How to explain.
And it's that question of the ends justifying the means. Like, is it enough that the intent and result was altruistic if there was some sort of, as you said, clearly some sort of damage alleged, tourism and whatever, beyond just people feeling hurt and feeling offended? There was actually some tangible damage I don't know if it's measurable. You prove it, but I see the assertion.
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, as of this report, the new version of the track is headed to #1 on the UK's official singles chart. And if you'd like to learn more about the making of it, there's a new documentary that was originally just on the BBC and now is available on YouTube, titled "The Making of the Original Do They Know It's Christmas?" It's available now. Yeah, I guess they could write a song which is just, look, if you get these people together, especially in the 80s, I don't know these acts that much nowadays, but if you create a super group of the most popular artists at the time, they could literally sing anything and raise money.
Right.
I don't know how you do it now with streaming and downloads, how you can make money as we did in the 80s again when people had to buy records.
Remember when they were the world that one summer?
Yes.
Yes.
Now they're not the world.
Yep.
Yeah. Right. Now they're a URL.
Nick says, John, as a recently out of the closet white man, I think you're uniquely qualified to write a new version of the song. I think so too.
Certainly. Well, if I can rewrite
That's what I
Vincent
was
Price's
Yeah.
narrative,
Yep.
clearly I can do.
The song, Marcus says the song
yes.
is bad poetry and not really great sonically.
I'm going to work dysentery into my version Do They Know It's Christmas? Because we have all the rhyming words already.
That's right.
Nick just suggested a new song. Do they know it's racist?
Right.
We need to add some more words to that for the cadence.
After all.
There you go. Racist after all. Yeah,
Perfect.
you're right.
I
Print.
got to tell you, I was all about this song when it first came out. Oh man, all about it. Couldn't get
Kat,
enough
how
of
could
it.
you?
Yeah. She just
I wasn't listening
is that one Simon Le Bon part over again.
over and over
What is
and
it?
over.
At
Yeah,
Christmas time.
it's hard, but when you're having fun,
There's a world
there's
out.
a world outside your
window.
window.
See, you know the words. I don't even know those.
Well, some of them I did kind of.
I did.
Oh, I thought that's just how he was singing. You know, he is from Duran Duran, so he mumbles through most of it.
Oh, no. His are very clear. There's mumblers.
Oh,
There's mumblers and
you
then there's
sure
mumblers.
there
I
are some
clearly
mumblers.
struck a nerve. I apologize, Kat.